The House of the Temple of the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry. It's the national headquarters for the Supreme Council of the Scottish Rite, Southern Jurisdiction for the United States of America, Mother Supreme Council of the world. That's quite a lot to say about one building, but this is quite a building. Just the sight of this building will inspire a sense of wonder, a sense of awe, and a sense of mystery. But today we're going to unravel a little of that mystery for you with a very special tour guide who's going to let us see some things you would never otherwise see inside the House of the Temple. Welcome to the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry channel. I am your host, Maynard Edwards, 32nd degree, KCCH, Scottish Rite Freemason. Before we begin, I do hope you will help us out. Subscribe to the channel. Every subscriber helps us make more videos, believe it or not. Give us a like, so hit that thumbs up icon down there, and also share it with a friend. And really important, if you're a Scottish Rite Mason, if you're a Freemason, drop us a comment below. Shout out your lodge, shout out your valley. We'd love to hear from brothers, and if you've got questions, we want to answer those. If you're not a Mason, then down below you can let us know that. And you can also click the link above or also in the description below for beafreemason.com. If you go there, you can find out how to connect with a lodge in your area and get started on your Masonic journey today. Speaking of Masonic journeys, we're going to take one today, and we're being taken along by a very special guest. Our Grand Executive Director of the Scottish Rite Southern Jurisdiction is Admiral Bill Sizemore, 33rd degree Grand Cross. He's kind of the guy who runs the day-to-day things inside the House of the Temple. And we did this tour video a while ago, and I mentioned on the channel a while back that I'm going through the archives and I'm looking for things that have never been shown to people before, and this video is one of those. We did this tour video, and it was supposed to go to a select group, select audience, and it went out, and it's just too good not to share with the larger group. So I talked to Admiral Bill, and he agreed to let us share this video with you guys here on YouTube as he demystifies the House of the Temple. He's going to take you into some of the spaces of the House of the Temple, show you some of the artifacts you would otherwise never get to see. One thing I want to point out before we begin, though, is the House of the Temple is over 100 years old. It was opened in 1915, so as I tape this, it's 2022, so well over 100 years old at this point. And one of the challenges of doing video and audio inside the House of the Temple is occasionally you run into areas where it's really difficult to get lighting, or it is tough to get really clean audio, and that's because, some spaces just the light just doesn't work, won't go where you want it to go. And in terms of the audio, you run into a lot of echoes because all the surfaces are hard marble, or the life support systems like the heating and air conditioning and all those things, the plumbing, it's all real noisy because when they built the building, they weren't really thinking about, me dragging a camera through the hallways and worrying about getting clean audio. So you might hear some of those little wonky things. You might see some things where the lighting is a little off or anything, but it's still such a good tour video that I wanted to share it with you. So here, taking you on a little tour to demystify parts of the House of the Temple, is our Grand Executive Director, Admiral Bill Sizemore.
I'm Bill Sizemore, your Grand Executive Director, and I'm here with Brother Maynard Edwards at the House of the Temple. And today we're going to give you a virtual tour of the House of the Temple. We much prefer to do this in person, and we normally do this in person, but unfortunately, due to circumstances beyond our control, we're going to have to do this virtually. The House of the Temple is a massive and magnificent structure with over 100,000 square feet of space inside of it. But that said, it's a very fairly straightforward building with four main levels. It's got a temple room, which is at the top. It's got a basement level, which is at the bottom. And in between are an atrium level, which is just below the temple room level, and a banquet room level, which is in between the atrium level and the basement level. The temple room at the top is what it is, as it's described. It's a temple room. The basement level at the bottom consists of some offices, some storage areas, including archive areas, some common areas, common space areas, and some mechanical rooms. The banquet level has multiple museums and display areas and display hallways. It's got 2 special libraries. It's got the George Washington banquet room, and it's also got several offices. And then finally, the atrium level has the main entrance to the House of the Temple. It's got the atrium itself. It's got the executive chamber and the main library, which consists of a reading room and then a large book storage room that has these really neat 2-story bookshelves inside of it. And it also has some office areas. So with that said, let's get started and go on our tour.
This is the Americanism Room, and this is kind of a very special place to me. It's got a collection of photos and memorabilia of Masons and Scottish Rite Masons that were in the military. And there's a lot to see and look at in this room. This is the past Sovereign Grand Commander's room, and it's got portraits of all past Sovereign Grand Commanders going around the room, and just some really cool memorabilia, and definitely worth visiting and taking a look at this display. I am now in the Hall of Honor, again on the banquet level of the House of the Temple. We're right below the rotunda level in the grand staircase in the House of the Temple. But here we have portraits of famous Scottish Rite Masons, and I'm standing right next to Admiral Arleigh Burke, who was Chief of Naval Operations, the head guy in the Navy back in the 60s. But there are a lot of very famous people that were the Scottish Rite Masons, and it's very interesting to go through here and see their portraits and read about them and their biographies in the Hall of Honor here. I've now moved on to the Grand Commander's Collection, which, as you know, we have a relatively new Sovereign Grand Commander, and so this collection is under renovation, and we're adding things as we go. And right behind me is the Philanthropy Room, which is also under construction. We had kind of an older display in there, which has been taken out. The room has been modified, and that's one of our next projects is to upgrade that room, the Philanthropy Room. I'm now standing in the Supreme Council hallway. It has portraits of all the active members, the Sovereign Grand Inspectors General of the Supreme Council. They have each of their portraits going down the hallway here. We're now in the hall of Masonic Regalia, Scottish Rite Regalia. Displayed on each of these portraits in the hallway is the regalia of each of the degrees from the 1st through the 33rd degree. Brethren, I'm now standing in the Albert Pike room, which has a collection of memorabilia from past Sovereign Grand Commander Pike, and this is our final stop on the banquet level of the House of the Temple. Greetings again, brethren. I'm now on the atrium level, standing outside the Pillars of Charity, which also honors major donors to the Scottish Rite. And there are also two busts here. One of past Sovereign Grand Commander Albert Pike and past Grand Commander John Henry Coles, who were both interned behind their busts here in the House of the Temple. Brethren, we're now in the Executive Chamber, and this is where the Supreme Council, the active members, the Sovereign Grand Inspectors Generals meet during the opening session and conduct the business of the Scottish Rite. And it's a magnificent room, and one that you certainly want to see at some point. I'm now standing at halfway up the grand staircase on our way up to the temple room. Brethren, I'm now standing in the temple room, the house of the temple, which is just magnificent. It's over 100 feet from the floor here up to the top of the oculus, and sure wish you could be here to witness this and just feel this place. It is truly inspiring. Kind of a secret door. The staircase here that takes us all the way to the roof of the temple. In fact, we can stop by the organ loft and an area, that storage area, and then all the way up to the roof. This here leads to another staircase that will take you up both to the organ loft and the storage area where we keep old portraits. I want to watch your head here. And this is the roof. But if you continued up these steps, you need to get a harness on. It'll take you to the top of the oculus in the temple room. There we are up on top of the house of the temple. And you just kind of walk right here. The view is fantastic. How you doing, Maynard?
So far, so good. I would have skipped my run this morning if I'd have known we were going to do all this.
This is off to the west, and you see the shoreline from Virginia. Down here, the Washington Monument. This is the front of the temple, facing 16th Street, which ends down at the White House. And you can kind of see the Washington skyline from here. I'll show you one other thing. This is kind of a final look on our back lot area. It's half of a city block. Part parking lot, it's part of a garden, and we're going to start developing this space in about a month. Start digging. We're going to build we're partnering with the developer to build a 158 unit luxury apartment building back here, which will bring a steady stream of income to the Scottish Rite for a 99-year period, and at which time we get it all back. It's ours again to do whatever we want with it. So this is about 6 years, a 6-year undertaking, and like I said, we're going to get started either later this month or next month.
Okay, at the end, both Admiral Bill and myself were a little winded there, and it looks like we only went up about 5 steps. We actually climbed about 10 flights of steps with gear on our shoulders, so that's why we were winded when we got to the top, but I cut all of that out because there's just nothing to see other than complete darkness. There's no lights in that area, and there was nothing, so I edited it out, but then once we did it, it looked like, well, God, these guys got winded climbing up, 3 steps, and that's not the case. We were a little worn out when we hoofed it up there, all those flights, but it is a little farther in reality than this video would appear. So I just wanted to defend myself, but also defend Admiral Bill, that neither of us is in that bad a shape, despite sitting behind a desk for 2 years because of COVID. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you will subscribe to the channel. I hope you'll give us a thumbs up. If you've got a question about something you saw in this video or any of our videos, drop that below, and I hope to catch you next time here on the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry channel. Hey, if you're watching this video and you want to learn how to become a Freemason, click this video right here and it's going to give you a step-by-step process to follow on how to connect with a Masonic lodge. And if you're already a Master Mason interested in joining the Scottish Rite, click this link right here and it's going to take you to the Scottish Rite website where you can sign up to become a Scottish Rite Mason right now.